Everyone. You might have heard about this recent press conference that the governor of New York State recently had regarding, obviously, coronavirus. And they were talking about the great news that, okay, finally, in New York State, the numbers were beginning to plateau, that they weren't seeing an increase. It seems like the curve finally got flattened. And this is awesome news, but the governor decided to end his response to a question by saying that this plateauing, the success against the coronavirus, was due exclusively to the efforts of different individuals. He said, quote, "God did not do this, faith did not do this," end quote. And he said that, we, with a lot of hard work, did it. And it's true that, many people had to work hard in order to bring that about. But it's really tragic that he completely excludes God from that equation, as if, he had nothing to do with it, as if there was no intervention, as if God didn't care what was going on with coronavirus. And I don't know the exact reasons as to why the governor said that, but I do know that God cares a lot about coronavirus and about many other things, and about everything, actually, that's taking place in our world, regardless of whether or not we think he is or not. Our beliefs don't determine what's going on out there. It's not as if my beliefs or disbelief in the water cycle of evaporation, condensation, and precipitation affect how water actually works. Water is going to do what water does, regardless of whether or not I think it's going to do that or not. Or regardless of whether or not I think the sun is at the center of the solar system. Like, heliocentrism doesn't change because of my beliefs about heliocentrism. And the same can be said about, the acceleration of gravity. Things fall on this earth at 9.8 meters per second squared, regardless of what I think. I don't decide by jumping off a building that I'm not going to fall. No, I'm going to fall because that's just how things work. And regardless about what other people think about God, he does care, and he cares deeply about everything that is happening in our lives. And so we see instances of this. We see that he cares, especially in miracles. There are many miracles that are reported in Lourdes, France, throughout the years that are completely inexplicable by human science. The same thing at the grotto in Emmitsburg, where all the time we hear reports about miraculous healings or conceptions that are taking place, and the doctors don't know how that actually happened. It shouldn't have happened that way. And so we can say that medicine didn't do that, and nature didn't do that. That was God who did these things, undoubtedly. And in cases of pandemic as well that we're going through, there are other cases where God chooses to sometimes intervene through the intercession of the Blessed Virgin Mary. Where there was one case, and there was a situation in St. Louis, where in the 1840s cholera outbreak, the students of the Jesuit college there in St. Louis, Missouri, they got together and they came to the chapel and they consecrated themselves to Our Lady, and they made a promise. They said, "Mary, if you protect all of us, all of the students here at the college, from this cholera pandemic, we will crown the image of you here on campus with a silver crown." And they went about the university and they placed miraculous medals over the doors and the gates, and the pandemic passed. And sure enough, not a single student suffered from it, was infected, or died from it. And so they crowned Our Lady at the end of that pandemic, giving thanks for that motherly intercession. And that's just a reminder that in times like this, we go to God. We go to God through his Blessed Mother, through the Blessed Virgin Mary. We should trust all of our anxieties, all of our worries to her, because she's watching over us. She's a good mother. She is taking care of us. And so let us make sure we do that today. And any other time where there might be any kind of anxiety facing us because of a physical situation, an economic situation, a financial situation, family situations, go to Mary. Go to Mary. She will hear your prayers, and she will bring them to our Lord, who will intervene, who will be acting, who will answer them, maybe not as we want or expect, but he does not neglect his children.